We're here. We're live. I'm not in disguise. I'll tell you what's going on after we get through the intro, but we're doing a live show before the Yankee game on Thursday afternoon, and let's just get into it.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey. This episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, including your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. Brian is not here. He's off for a couple days. I have an eye infection I didn't want you to see, which is why I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm not in disguise. I'm not embarrassed. Well, no, I am embarrassed by how bad the Yankees have been playing lately, but that's not why I'm wearing the sunglasses. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like the videos, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. So we'll quickly preview the game that's coming up in just over an hour. We're going to talk about the Yankees and the 4th of July because it's the 4th of July. But first, let's discuss last night's game. And I will be looking at your comments as I'm doing this. In fact, hi, everyone. Thank you for, Ricardo, I'm glad that you're catching a live one too. I felt bad that I didn't do a show yesterday. If you saw the short that I put up, I literally didn't have a voice. So I've been sick all week, and I guess the eye problem that I'm having is part of that. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. So last night's game, Yankees lose 3-2. Womp womp. Rodon looks better, but not good enough because he gives up 3 runs. Although if the Yankees were playing the way they should be playing, 3 runs shouldn't be a problem for the offense. But let's get into Rodon's performance. The problem with his performance is, if you look at his line, and you see, he only gave up 3 hits, but 2 of those hits counted for the 3 runs because he gave up a 2-run home run and a solo home run. And, he had 8 strikeouts. So he was looking better. He started off the game great because his biggest problem in his last 3 starts previous to last night, when he's been just hit around, was his first innings were bad. He got through the first inning unscathed. It was the second inning that gave him a problem. And then 5th inning gave him a little bit of a problem, but he rebounded. So the Reds were hitting his 4-seamer. There were 5 balls in play off the fastball, including Marte's 2-run home run. Rodon said about that pitch, I kind of pulled the fastball down and in. That ball was supposed to be up. Stuart Fairchild's home run in the 5th was off a slider, and it was another pitch that Rodon, after the game, said he wished he had back, didn't throw it to the correct spot there either. So overall, Rodon threw 95 pitches, 35 sliders, 25 4-seamers, 22 changeups, 13 curveballs. That's all from Baseball Savant. If you were watching the game last night, you saw that he wasn't very happy with Boone taking him out of the game. And there were shots of him being calmed down by de facto pitching coach Garrett Cole in the dugout. Rodon said after the game, I wanted to stay in and get those last 2 outs of that inning. I understand they turned it over to Tonkin. He gets 2 outs easily. He is great. And he is, and we'll get to that in a moment. So the main problem with the Yankees right now, obviously, is their lack of offense. It's a lack of offense. It's also the fact that the offense doesn't seem to come alive until the later innings when it's too late. It happened on Tuesday night. It happened on Wednesday night. And this is a problem. It's a problem that they have only a couple of guys really hitting regularly. And if those 2 guys don't hit, the rest of the lineup doesn't hit, they're not going to score. Now, for today's game, Boone finally moved Volpe out of the leadoff spot. Ben Rice is in that spot now. Volpe is down at 6. Verdugo is still cleanup, but I guess that's better than J.D. Davis being cleanup, right? But this offense needs to get it together. And all the people who were complaining about Stanton, you miss him now, don't you? I know I miss him in the middle of that lineup. Yeah, it's a big hole. He's a big hole in that lineup. He wasn't hitting the cover off the ball. He wasn't batting 340, but he was hitting more regularly than most of the guys in that bottom half of the lineup. And that is a big hole, and you're seeing it right now. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm going to put comments up too while I do this. It's kind of hard to control this while I'm trying to do the show, but okay, old and retired. All these 15 years since 2009 is the constant, which is Cashman. He is the source of all their problems. He hired the incompetent manager and has constructed the rosters and recommended the player expenditure. True. That is true. Speaking of the manager, oh gosh, he's been making some interesting choices of late. I do like the Rice move into the leadoff spot, but JD Davis in I saw that lineup yesterday and I thought, if I had a voice, I would have screamed. But yeah, Javier Velez, he misses Stanton just like I miss Stanton. You all should be missing him right now, honestly, because he wasn't just hitting home runs. He was hitting doubles. I mean, we know he can't run, but he was hitting the ball. And that's a big chunk of the lineup to not have production out of. You know, guys will occasionally get hits. I mean, Volpe had that big double. But then the ninth inning, is there anything more frustrating than a guy having a 10-pitch at bat against Diaz? We're talking about Wells. That was a great at bat by Wells. And then Volpe grounds into a double play. At least it wasn't the first pitch, but on the second pitch of the at bat. And then Soto, same thing. Second pitch of the at bat, flies out to end the game. What are you guys doing? Yeah. Javier says, I would freak out if JD Davis gets put in the leadoff spot. I don't think that's going to happen. It was bad enough he was cleanup, right? And, you know, the one plus of last night was the bullpen, right? They came in after Rodon. Michael Tonkin's been great for the Yankees. You know, he'll probably turn into a pumpkin at some point, but let's be happy that he's pitching well right now. Tommy Kahnle and Clay Holmes both look good. And the bullpen after Rodon threw 3 2/3 scoreless innings. Now, it would be great if the entire team could be running on all cylinders, but they're not, because you have games where the starting pitching is okay, the bullpen is great, but the offense doesn't do anything. Then you have games where the offense looks okay, the starting pitching is horrible, and the bullpen has issues. Do you remember when they were doing really well? And they started off the year strong, and all 3 aspects of the game were doing really well. You know, they were scoring runs, the starters were pitching well, and the bullpen was pitching well. And then everything fell apart in June. And I'm trying to figure out or pinpoint exactly when everything fell apart, because they really fell off a cliff. It's almost like that cliffhangers game on Price is Right that gave all of us 80s kids anxiety. They literally have fallen off a cliff. And I don't know why. I don't know how you can go from playing so well to playing so badly so quickly. I mean, it really, they turned on a dime. It's a complete 180, and it's just baffling me. Mike Rotunda. I know one thing: if we do another midseason collapse like a few years ago, Cashman and Boone won't survive. I mean, they shouldn't have survived that one. Honestly, before I go to segment 2, I don't think Boone should have survived getting swept out of the ALCS. I really don't. I don't think he should have. No, I don't think he should have lasted. I think they should have moved on. But we talk about it all the time. He's a good players manager. The guys love him. And it's just not. It's never going to happen. So the Yankees lose to the Reds 3-2. They're facing Frankie Montas. We're going to talk about that in segment 3. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the 4th of July, because it's the 4th of July. The Yankees have a lot of connections to the 4th of July. Hello, Yankee Doodle Dandy, all that good stuff. But first, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. Next, we're going to talk about the 4th of July. Isn't that how the tune goes? That's how the tune goes. It's summertime, which means it's barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites and earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. So you won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on thousands of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw from your bank account, PayPal, or you can get gift cards. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It's time you joined the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's that's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So it's the 4th of July, which means it's George Steinbrenner's birthday. Could you imagine George right now? Just imagine George right now. The Yankees are 0-5-1 in their last 6 series. How would George react? And I can't stand saying that because I'm one of those people, it's one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. I can't stand when people say, if George were alive, this would happen. Because there's a lot of romanticizing about George Steinbrenner's history with the Yankees, but if you watched that documentary about the 1990 Yankees, you will see just how crazy George Steinbrenner was. If you weren't around then, or if you have forgotten about how crazy he was back then, that will open your eyes. Let's see. I'm looking at some comments here. Okay. Oh, yes. You know what? We're going to do more. Because I like doing them. I really do. I used to be terrified of doing live streams, and I used to be terrified of doing the show live because I figured I'd mess up the live reads terribly like I do when I record them. But I only messed up once in the Ibotta read, so I did pretty well. Yes, I agree with this. Javier Velez, George Steinbrenner would have been upset at his son for what he did with his team. With this team. It's true. I say it all the time. Hal is a business guy, right? George was too, but George had, no offense, but he had a screw loose. He really did, okay? And Hank was like that. Dearly departed Hank was more like his father, where Hal is the more level-headed business head, you know? And he looks at the bottom line, where George was all about winning. He didn't care. And I always say that I wish that the Yankees owner was a hybrid between Hank and Hal, where you had that part of the owner that really wanted to go out and get people. Because I think if Hal was more like Hank, we would have seen Bryce Harper on this team, or maybe even Manny Machado a few years ago when the Yankees had an opportunity to try and get those guys, you know? It's frustrating that the Yankees are satisfied with this new way of playing baseball. Like they're okay with, oh, we'll get the wild card and we'll squeak into the playoffs because the playoffs are like a crapshoot. No, try and win the division. Could you imagine Derek Jeter being on this team? and accepting, oh yeah, no, we could just win the wild card. We don't need to win the division. What? Because that's basically what this team's mentality is like, right? Yes, actually, this is perfect. Requinix 17. George was like a mob boss. I mean, literally. And Hal is like a corporate CEO. I mean, just look at what George did to Dave Winfield, getting involved with Spira, Howie Spira, and trying to get the information on. If you haven't watched that documentary, is it on Hulu or Netflix? Or is it Peacock? Now I can't remember what service is on, but I watched it when it first came out, and it is fantastic. I lived through 1990. I turned 16 that year, and I remember it well. And there were some things that I had forgotten about that George did, and oof, yeah. Yes, this too. John the Beagle Dad. Look what George did to Reggie Jackson. Yeah. And yes, I agree with this too, and I really hope so. Mike Rotonda. I hope Hal understands we have a real shot this season, but we need a few pieces. We are close. This is true. They're really just going through a bad stretch. They do need a few pieces. They're right there, you know? And I don't think the first part of the season was a complete fluke. I just don't think they're that good. But they're also not as bad as they're playing right now. They are horrible right now. They've been embarrassed over the last few weeks. Just, it's embarrassing watching them, honestly. And, you know, you guys can not watch them because you don't have to. You choose to. I have to for my job. And it is torture sometimes. It's harder for me to do it because I'm actually a Yankee fan. For beat writers who have to cover the team, they take out the fandom. They don't have to think about anything, you know, like they're not rooting for the Yankees. I still have that part of me. I'm a Yankee fan covering the Yankees, and I try to separate it, but it's really difficult to do. And, you know, I was with my no voice last night, which I'm very happy it's holding out right now, basically screaming at the TV with a raspy voice because I was just so angry with how bad they looked at the plate. Let's see. Razzle the Great. Boone openly said he sits guys on a streak in favor of the guys on a cold streak because he wants them to break out of their funk. I'm not kidding. Did he really say that? Did he really say that? Good Lord. He really is, Rodney. Rodney Green says Boone is a major problem. I understand, and we talk about it all the time. He's a player's manager. The players love him. He calms them down, even though he gets crazy and likes to yell at umpires, but he's a good player's manager. He can manage the clubhouse. But, and I also say this all the time, I don't understand how a man who's been around baseball literally since he's in the womb, because his grandfather and father played, doesn't have a feel for the game. He doesn't have a feel for it. And I don't understand how that's possible. Am I saying that I'd be a better manager? No, not at all. But there are some decisions that he makes where I'm thinking, what is he doing? What is happening right now? It's a big problem. The other problem is, and I mentioned this earlier, the team seems okay with, let's just make the wild card. Like they're playing for a wild card. That's what's annoying. Play for the division. Try to beat up on your division rivals. Don't just accept that these guys are beating up on you. What is happening here? You know, I love Judge, but I need him to come out a little bit and be like, no, this isn't acceptable. You know, like, no, this isn't acceptable. We can't be this bad. That's all you got to do. You don't have to single anyone out, obviously, but you have to come out and say, yeah, no, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We need to be better. Boone needs to do the same thing because he'll always, again, I understand that he doesn't want his players to feel bad, but sometimes you need to make people feel bad for playing awfully, you know? Right. He really, yes. Rodney Green said Judge needs to be more vocal. Yeah. I don't think that's funny. Razzle the Great says, and Stace, what do we do with Rodon, who's clearly Rodon? I don't think he's Rodon. I really don't. Last night, it's just a couple of bad pitches that messed him up. It was a much better start than his previous three. It wasn't great, obviously, but yeah, I know. It's a chore watching this team, and they're just in a really bad funk, but I like that, Rodon. I don't think he'd like that, but that's very funny, Rodney. Okay, coming up next, we're gonna preview the game that starts in, like, 45 minutes between the Yankees and the Reds. Will the Yankees be shut down by Frankie Montas? Will it be a Frankie Montas revenge game? Probably. This episode of Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah, it's summer. That means baseball, but summer also means travel. So why not mix the two? Don't you think it's time you explored some of those cities across the country that you secretly wanted to learn about? Yes, we're talking about the Yankees' rival cities. Planning a trip to Fenway to see the Yankees take on the Red Sox? Booking.com makes it a breeze. And it's not just about hotels. You can choose from a variety of accommodations like bed and breakfasts right outside of Boston, vacation rentals, resorts, and more, all with the convenience of Booking.com. On Booking.com, you can find the perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. And for Yankees fans, that means more than just Boston. It means Baltimore and Tampa, too. You can book hotels that overlook stadiums or book family-friendly resorts. Booking.com has so many choices across the USA for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any US city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Game Time. If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. It's the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. As you know, the Yankees are home this week, and Game Time has deals on tickets right up to moments before your event starts, and even an hour after it starts. I actually went to the app last night to see, and it said that there was time for you to still buy tickets at 7:37, which is pretty cool. So if you decide to go to the stadium at 7:15, you can still get in. If you wanted to get tickets today, I saw some for $4. So you might still have time to do it if you're watching this live. You can also find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and get $20 off your first purchase with code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms apply. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. If you're just joining us, I'm wearing sunglasses because I have an eye infection. I'm not hiding from anyone, although I should be as a Yankee fan. I should have a bag over my head for being a Yankee fan right now. 0-5-1 in their last 6 series. After going through the first how many with only losing 2? Amazing. So let's look ahead to this last game. We have Frankie Montas, who is 3-6 with a 4.23 ERA against Marcus Stroman, who's 7-3 with a 3.29 ERA. That is the Yankees' kryptonite. 4.23, right in the middle between 4 and 5 ERA. The Yankees cannot hit guys like that, and I don't know why. It's been happening all season. I don't understand with the guys on this offense why they can't hit guys who have ERAs over 4. It's amazing to me. If you didn't know, and you're watching this live, Ben Rice is leading off. Volpe was dropped down to the 6th spot. It needed to be done, even though he did have that big double last night. So, can the Yankees avoid a sweep at the hands of the Cincinnati Reds? With the way they've been playing lately, probably not. I hate to say it. I really do. I don't like going into games and thinking that, they're going to lose, but It's just, oh, really bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, live ad reads. It's it's funny that I do them better live than I do when we're recording. I will mess them up 5 times and also curse when I mess up, and I think my brain is like, "You're live. You can't mess this up. People are watching you." So, yeah, when it's just Brian watching me, I'll mess up as much as possible, but yes, thank you, John C. Again, eye infection. Woke up with one eye closed. It's been a bad week. I have really bad allergies. Does anyone else have allergies this week, or am I the lucky one? Because oh, it has been it's been a week. If you saw the short last night, you saw I didn't have a voice all day yesterday. Uh-oh. And yeah, so it's been great. Oh, here's another comment. Fire Mike McCarthy. The problem is Cashman. Why on earth did he trade for JD Davis? Davis is awful, if anyone doesn't know. The lineup is most likely coming from the front office analytics department. Yeah, it's why Davis is fourth. Yeah. I mean, when I saw that, I thought, I, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Chalid, is that how you say it? Do you think we were spoiled living in 1998 wanting to win every game? So frustrating. They just need to play better. They don't have to win every game. Brian and I said this last week. They don't have to win every game, but it'd be nice if they won a series every once in a while. 2 out of 3. We said it before this series. Just win 2 out of 3. They couldn't even do that against the Reds. No offense to the Reds, but they're 41 and 45. 41 and 45. They were 39 and 45 coming into this series, and the Yankees have had problems with them. I understand the Yankees having problems with teams who are above 500 or teams who are on fire like the Mets, but now they're starting to lose to losing teams. This is a big problem. It's a big problem. They need to wake up because it's July 4th. It is getting late. It's getting late early. That's what it is. So, yes, it seems like that, Natalie. The Yankees are allergic to hitting cleanup. Yeah, and without Stanton, it's a big problem. Oh, good. So I'm not the only one. Okay, Papa Rick says I just took my allergy medicine. Yeah, it's been awful all week. I had been stuffy. I was stuffy on the show the other night, and then I woke up yesterday and literally didn't have a voice. And I couldn't do the show. I apologize. I couldn't do the show Tuesday night either because my allergies were so bad that my eyes were killing me. And all these, I should have worn the sunglasses. I didn't think to do that until I got the eye infection. So I apologize for there not being a show on Wednesday, and I will make this up and do another live show. Might do like a special kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I can do a live show where we watch a game together. Obviously, I can't show the game on screen, and I will obviously have to not curse like I usually do when I watch the game and something bad happens. But so in case you missed it or you're just joining, Ben Rice is leading off today. Game starts in 45-ish minutes. Volpe dropped down to 6th. Will it be the Frankie Montas revenge game? I don't think it'll be revenge because he barely played for the Yankees, and he spent most of the time hurt, which was a big bummer, because he came over here injured, and that was just a nightmare of a trade deadline for Cashman. That was the year that he gave up all of his pitching, and then yeah. Yes. Razzle the Great, Ben Rice at leadoff, and it's about time. I'm not allowed to because of my parent company, unless I do it on my own personal YouTube channel, which would be really funny. But no, I'm not going to do that because you guys don't need to see that. I don't know. I don't think Volpe needs to be benched. Francisco Bastidas said Volpe deserved to be benched, not just moved down. I mean, the Yankees don't really have a lot of guys to hit because who's going to hit instead of him? You know what I mean? Like, you don't really have someone who's going to replace him who's actually going to hit the ball, right? So I don't know. They were doing so well, and then things started happening. Injuries started happening again, and the pitching started turning into a pumpkin, and I don't know, but they need to turn things around. Thank you. That says, love the sunglasses, Mrs. Onassis. Now, all right, quick question, a quick story. 23 years ago, I had my left eye operated on because I was born with a lazy eye, and it was my third operation in my life. And for the week and a half after that, I had to wear sunglasses, and I did. My friends were calling me Jackie Onassis. Also, I couldn't wash my hair because they didn't want me getting anything near my eyes. So I'd wear pillowcases wrapped around my head. So I actually did look like Jackie Onassis for a good 2 weeks. So yeah. Um, yeah, John C. You know, like the Cinderella. Uh, Not lazy, energy efficient eye. Yeah. Yes, Francisco, I spoke about this earlier. Wasn't the first pitch, it was the second pitch because I looked that up on Baseball Savant just to make sure. But both Volpe and Soto hit the second pitch after Wells worked a 10 pitch walk. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. I cannot stand when guys swing early, when a guy is clearly not doing what he needs to do. Just unbelievable. Oh, random question, not about the Yankees. Have you talked to Steve since he left? How's he doing? Steve is doing great. He's doing great work with the Springfield Cardinals. You can follow him on his socials. It's Steve Granato. And he does podcasts. He does broadcasts. He calls games on the radio. He does a lot of the social media stuff for the team too. And he makes reels and videos. And he's doing so great. And I'm so happy for him because I told him he was going to do really well at that job. And yeah, it was really good. Well, Natalie says, how much longer do we give DJ? I believe it was last week, Boone said that they're giving him a lot of runway, whatever that means. And oh boy, yeah, I know we got a hit yesterday, right? I wasn't imagining that, but it'd be nice if these guys could get hits when you need them to. like it's great that guys are getting doubles and stuff, but can you get them when someone's on base and not strike out? You know, and that Trent Grisham pinch hitting appearance was great. What did he strike out on 3 pitches against Justin Wilson, who's 36 years old and who's played for 15 teams? Unbelievable. Okay, I'm getting really fired up, and I think it's probably the everything that's happening. So I'm going to sign off because the game is starting soon. So thank you for joining me. Yes, Razzle. Let's read this one last comment. A runway he can never take off from. I know. I really wish DJ could get something going, and it feels the same as Glaber. You think he's getting something going, and then he doesn't. You know, he has like a blip on the dying patient's EKG. It's like, oh, wait, maybe they're coming back. No, they're not coming back. So, yeah. All right, one more time. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos and a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions. You can text us comments. I was giving the insiders all the scoop on my illnesses so they knew when the show was going to be happening. And I'm so sorry I was so sick this week. Obviously you can't plan for illnesses. It just happens. For Fan Mail Friday, you can leave your questions under the pinned comment on YouTube. You get top priority if you're an insider, which means you get your questions answered in segment 1, but we will still answer your questions on YouTube. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So have a happy and safe 4th of July. If you're going to set off fireworks, please be careful. We don't want you losing any digits. That just wouldn't be nice. And, don't set them off toward people or, houses and trees. You don't want to start fires. Just please be careful. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again for joining me. You all were great. I appreciate it. And again, have a safe holiday.